Alright guys, I'm going to be tying up a little foam caddis today. Start this tie off with some olive colored UTC 140. And we'll come in with I'm using a medium pearl tinsel. I'm going to wrap the rest of the body up with this just to give it a little bit of shine in the water. We can't catch that in there. And I'm going to wrap this just about to the end of the hook, maybe even a little bit into the bend. Just like that. And we'll loosely bring it back up, cover up that tag end. Do a bunch of extra wraps, that way I can use my rotary. Just like that. We'll bring that up in close touching spirals. And with that open spiral we did on the way back, it'll give the body a little bit of a segmented look. All right, perfect. Catch that in here. Perfect. Cut that tag end off and we'll wrap back onto the tinsel a little ways. And I like to cover up that tinsel with some UV resin just to add durability. And it evens out all those layers we put on there, which is mostly just for me. Fish don't really care. Rotate that just a little, even out that resin. Little body never hurt nobody. Perfect. Tying this on a size 10. I normally tie it a lot smaller than this, so this is definitely going to be a big one. Now we'll cut out a little foam. I'd say, I don't know, 1/4 to 1/16 of an inch wide. And just cut it to a taper right at the tip. So I'll show you here in just a second. Once I get mine cut out. I cut mine out to look just like that. And then we'll lay that on the fly. And I like to make it just a little bit longer than my hook. Wrap back onto it just a little. Give ourselves a nice even base. And we'll cut that off and wrap over it. Smooth out all our tag ends. That UTC 140 lays out really nice and flat, which makes covering up our tag ends really easy. Now we're going to come in with some elk body here. I already stacked mine in my stacker. If you don't have a stacker, one thing I used to do when I first started tying is I would just use the center of a spool of thread and tap it directly on my bench. It's not the best thing in the world, but it will do. I'll make our wings about yay big. Really cinch that down. It's really going to fray out these wings. Just like that. Perfect. I'm going to try and keep these separate. And I'm going to wrap forward on this because we're going to be putting a hackle feather on top of it. So you want it to be a relatively smooth transition up towards the eye. So we'll just wrap onto this a little at a time till we get almost all the way to our hook eye. And remember, it's okay if it looks a little buggy, you can always clean it up later. We'll cut that off at an angle with our corresponding to our hook eye. And I'm going to leave that as the front of the fly, or the head. And we'll put our hackle back here on top of this body we've built up. Now normally I'll tie this on a curved hook, but I wanted to tie it on a straight shank and tie one that was a little bit bigger. But if you're tired of your caddis sinking in fast waters, this is a really good pattern for that. I love to fish it in fast waters. Tailwaters right on the outside of logs, stuff like that. All right. Get our hackle pliers and pinch the end of that feather. I like to put the dull side forward, but it really doesn't matter which way you do it. It's entirely up to you. And we'll do a bunch of extra wraps that way. That way when I come in with my rotary, it doesn't unfurl everything we've done so far. Now this really is a big version of this pattern, so you can obviously tie this in any size you want. That roll broke, so I'm gonna have to tie back a little bit. Take our whip finish tool, give it 3 or 4 turns, nothing crazy, and cinch that down. Now we'll give it another dose of that Solarez bone dry, right where we put the whip finish, and overlapping a little bit onto our grizzly hackle feather, and that'll help hold it down for a few more fish generally. Hit it with our light. This is the Loon bench light. I think this is the Nano. It works really well for its size. I'm impressed. I'll take my my thread zap tool, and I'll use that instead of my shears to clean up all these extra little fibers from the grizzly hackle. I'll use to clean up around the hook eye. It does a really good job, plus it'll burn back those hairs a little bit. All right, there you go, a foam caddis in a size 10. Thanks for watching.